Hey everyone, welcome back to Surviving and Thriving, where we talk about chronic pain, IC, and correlating conditions. Today, I want to talk about the being diagnosed with IC. Now what? What are you going to do after you've been diagnosed? I feel like a lot of women are in this boat right now, where maybe they never even heard the term interstitial cystitis before, and maybe they feel like they don't know what to do next. So I figured I would make a episode about what to do. And maybe some things that I didn't even know when I was diagnosed with IC. I was diagnosed with IC in my early 20s. It was quite a shock for me, and I honestly was very stressed out and didn't really know what to do. So, if you are just diagnosed with IC and you feel scared, confused, or hopeless, I've been there. Like I said, I was really stressed out the moment I was diagnosed with IC. I thought there was just going to be some kind of medicine that I would take and I would feel better. I thought it was like a UTI where you take the antibiotic and 9 out of 10 times it'll be good. And there was times when I did have a UTI or I took the antibiotic and I did feel better. But there were times when it did not work and I would Google things, I would look up things on Reddit, and I would just spiral for hours feeling like isolated, scared, confused, and hopeless. And the doctor just basically gave me a paper and said, you have to follow this diet. We can do this and this and this treatments. And sometimes those treatments do work. But a lot of the times, there's something more complex going on with someone who has IC. It's not just IC itself. And a lot of these medications can help, but they can also sometimes mask what's really going on. So I still think it's good to listen to your doctor and make sure you're trying these treatments. But I also want to encourage you and say that if it's not working for you, you're not alone. I am also a person who has done like even the bladder installations, and they would help sometimes, and other times I wouldn't notice a big difference. And I'm still open to taking those types of treatments. I just know now that there's much more going on amidst everything. It's not just, you take the treatment and you're better. Because with IC, especially it being a chronic condition, and them saying that if your bladder's inflamed and you don't have a infection, then you have IC. It's pretty much just they don't know what's causing the burning. They can guess, they can theorize what it could be, but they don't really know like 100%. It's just one of those things where every person is different, reacts differently to different things, and it can just feel so hopeless. I think people are becoming more aware and advocating more for people with IC. I think there's a lot more advances in technology and changes in treatment and recommendations across the world. But I do think we still live in a world where the medical field could be a lot better and a lot more open to other things other than just this medication. You take this and that's it. So I mentioned I had grief, I had anger, embarrassment, isolation. Um, and it was just hard to normalize this. It's just not something that you can just kind of pick up and keep going. It's a big altering thing in your life. It's kind of a nuisance, It's hard. It's hard to have something that you have to constantly try to figure out and deal with. It makes your body feel really crappy. Um, so you don't need to be overly medical to understand IC, to understand what it is. It's just about figuring out what works for you and what it really means. IC is, like I mentioned, called interstitial cystitis. It's a chronic bladder/pelvic condition. It's not an infection. Antibiotics don't fix it unless there's a true UTI. But even sometimes when you have UTIs, you may not always get relief with medicine. It can involve bladder sensitivity, pelvic floor tension, and nervous system dysregulation. Um, Ooh. Sorry about that. I have my phone up and I just figured I would use this background, but it just makes me laugh. But the questions that I had, and I feel like you might have had, is this forever? Do I have to live with this for the rest of my life? Will I ever feel normal again? That one's a big one. Can I still have sex? Intimacy. Will food control my life? Why did this happen? Is it in my head? All the questions I played through myself. Um, Now, please know not to beat yourself up if you have these questions, because these are completely valid questions that I think anyone would be asking if they got diagnosed with something that doesn't have like a specific cure or thing that's going to just magically take it away. You know, like a cold, you can take medicines and different things that can help get rid of the cold, and you know what it is, you know what it comes from. It makes sense. But IC doesn't always really logically fully make sense. It just doesn't. It's just unfortunately how a lot of these chronic conditions are. So I will break down what has helped me and what I am currently dealing with. As I've mentioned in other episodes, I still have flares. I still struggle, but I considered myself way, way better than I was before, especially when I first got diagnosed. I spent so much time at home, not really doing anything, feeling so depressed, feeling lost, and just feeling like I had no direction or path. I tried to look into it as much as I could, but I just felt very overwhelmed. I couldn't even fathom or accept at first that I even had this condition, and I didn't even know what that really meant for me. I really just kind of wanted to forget it, kind of just push it aside, but you can't really when it's a part of your life. It's something that caused you a lot of stress. So with nervous system work, it's pretty much when your body feels like it's not safe, so it'll give you these symptoms. And it's nothing that you're doing wrong. It's just sometimes when we're going through a lot of stress or trauma or repressed feelings that maybe we don't even know about or we don't know how to deal with, it can come out in those things. So nervous system is a number one thing that can cause chronic pain. So like I did somatic tracking, breath work, reducing fear around flares, understanding pain, does not equals damage. It's kind of like not looking at yourself as broken, you know, with all this. It's recognizing that even though it sucks to have these symptoms going on, it is not life altering. Well, it is life altering, but it's not like the end of the world. And when I say that, I mean like you can still live with this. Even though it's hard, even though it feels impossible, it's still possible to live with this and be happy and feel good again. And it's possible to not look at this as pain, to not look at this as the worst thing. It can become more of a, okay, this sucks, but I'm okay. Food without extremes, trying things slowly, not panicking at every symptom, which is, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, which is something that I deal with on a daily basis, is learning not to panic, especially over food, because they kind of just hand you the diet and then they just expect you to be okay with this, and they're just like you handle it, and it's can cause eating disorders. A lot of women end up with, or it can cause fear, which is food in general. I didn't have an eating disorder, but I tended to have anxiety with eating, and I think it kind of made my body tense up more. So I really encourage you to look into that and make sure you seek counsel, seek extra help. Nicole Sachs is a really good one for nervous system work. Cali K Nutrition is a good one to help you with food and nervous system and all of the above. Healing with Grace podcast is a really good one that can help you with your nervous system and all of it. Emotional support, like I mentioned, therapy or safe spaces. Not isolating, letting yourself grieve. It's okay to grieve and feel bad. I feel like we're taught to just push things away and not deal with it, and we're terrible humans if we talk openly about our problems and we're, you know, whatever, but you're allowed to grieve. It sucks. I still struggle with going out and feeling like it's impossible, but now I have more things that I can do to feel a little bit less stressed and to know that this isn't going to be forever. And that I'm allowed to grieve my old life, and I'm allowed to grieve the things that are harder for me to do sometimes or felt impossible. So please know that it's totally valid if you are grieving a part of your life that you feel like you can't get back. You don't need to overcomplicate it. Think reassurance, informative, hopeful, and real. Just being yourself in this is going to be the biggest thing. Not beating yourself up, keeping yourself informed, being hopeful, and just trying to be honest with yourself. You don't have to pretend that you're happy if you're not. Um, if you were just diagnosed with IC and you feel scared, confused, or hopeless, um, like I mentioned, please don't like Google and do Reddit. That will, I feel like, will make it worse and make you spiral more and make you feel like there's no hope. But there is. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes to see, 'cause I think I might have read a little bit backwards, but that's okay because it's all in the same idea. And I'm sorry for like some of the editing things. I know one of these days I'll have to maybe edit it a little bit better, but I figured it's okay for this. This is just kind of a quick, talk. So, addressing hopelessness directly. IC can make you feel like your life is over, but it's not. You can talk about the dark moments. I think it's really good to write things down. So journal speak. Nicole Sachs, please check that out. Kind of figuring out what's changed for you. What do you think could possibly be the cause? And remember, it can be very much nervous system related. You don't necessarily have to have a traumatic childhood for there to be trauma in your life. So kind of like recording things. Record like how much you use the bathroom. Record what you're eating. Keep an eye on your symptoms. Do they change from day to day? Look up what neuroplastic pain looks like and do I have it? I filled out a paper that explained everything, and it would tell you if it thought it your sorry if it thought that you had neuroplastic stuff going on or if it was more medical related, and sometimes it can be a little bit of both, but I really encourage you to look that up too and fill that out to see where you land and just try to be as honest as you can. Nobody has to see it, and knowing healing isn't linear. Yes, I still have symptoms, but I feel inside a lot more confident in myself. I feel less hopeless. I go out and do a lot more things. And I like to advocate and speak on this now. I used to not really want to talk about it at all because when I did, I just felt like people didn't understand, and not everybody does. I feel like I didn't have a community until I did one day, and it's really good to have a community, by the way. Make sure you're being around uplifting people, but also being around people who understand what you're going through. Even if it's only online, it's a big thing. Cali K Nutrition Road to Remission program is a really great way to have that community if you're dealing with IC. If you're dealing with a different type of chronic pain, this is still going to work for you. It's still going to be kind of the same idea. It just might look a little different. But there's also programs for a variety of different chronic pain in general. Um, and free resources. If you don't want to pay right now, there's so many free resources. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I want to share resources that I didn't even know existed. And so if someone does hear this, no matter what they're going through, it doesn't even have to be with IC, they know that healing is not going to look the same for everybody. And this is totally normal to feel this way. And you're not alone. And flare, if you're like, say you're working on your nervous system already, say you know all of this with your IC, but you're still having flares. That does not mean you're failing, because I've been dealing with that. I've been doing this work. I've been making lots of changes. I've been putting my life upside down, honestly, but in a good way. And yeah, I still have some habits and some things I'm working on, and it doesn't always look the same from day to day, but I have like a guideline and a way to do things, but I still flare. My body's still in that tense place, and it takes longer for some people, especially depending on how long you've been in that state of, shutdown. I also encourage you to look at the chart of different stressors and things that could be adding on more stress that isn't necessary. Seeing, what does your environment look like? Is there something that could be stressing you out more? Now, I'm not saying to be paranoid, don't do that, but just kind of being more aware of your surroundings and what even people are you people pleasing? Are you not able to say no? Are you taking on too much, or are you not being around people enough? Are you not, you know, getting yourself out there to find something that you enjoy? You are living proof that improvement is possible. So, anyone listening to this, you have made it through so many challenges, and you're going to make it through this. You got this, and I do too. I'm also living proof that you can still live a decent life with symptoms, and I'm also proof that I know people and have seen people who have had what I've had be completely okay now. Yeah, they still have flares. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to just magically go away, but you're going to have the right tools to help yourself get back to where you need to be. And it's not going to look the same. I think it'll never look the same, but it might even be better. It might be better for you than you ever thought or you could ever imagine. That's what I've been telling myself. You may not be able to control everything, but you can build tools. You can calm your nervous system and you can live a meaningful life. You are not broken. And I truly invite you to check out the resources that I mentioned. I will also probably be doing some posts about this kind of stuff and sharing some more free resources for anyone who's struggling with chronic pain or really any woman health related thing. And I truly hope that this helped you. And I look forward to hopefully having more people follow, like, comment, share, and check out Surviving and Thriving. And I'm so excited to do all these future things and looking forward to it. All right, bye everyone.